once again. We come only to serve you, not to disturb your minds or trouble your hearts, but to walk softly, not to disturb your concentration on finding peace. No matter what the day has shown you, no matter what has happened, you will always find peace when the eyes close and you move within the inner world. And within the silence of that world, you will find us. As we move silently to you, we see the beauty of every thought that is inspired only to serve humanity. For the purpose of what we gain is knowing that you yourselves will approach death and not fear. For the body itself must return, but who you are lives on. Every day you walk within your world. Every night you walk in the shores of our reality, giving you the sense of freedom and showing you the potential of freeing your mind. Many of you do not remember where you go. Some of you will only have echoes. Many will experience the night where their fears and doubts can step forward. But if you dream and the dream turns and causes your heart to race, you are experiencing the vibration of your reality, not ours. For our world is the peace that has followed the unfolding chaos of your reality. And remember, my friends, chaos does not represent in the manner of what many of you may think. Chaos can be enjoyment of unscripted, unprepared, spontaneous, that can be quite infectious to many. We observed how the description of the day, seeing how your world sleepwalks through its existence. But these individuals are lost in their own mind, free from the script of day, focused on being one within thought. No one can ever judge, for we do not see how that person has faced the morn and how they observe the rest of their night. Sometimes, my friends, you look out the window and see the earth, seeing how the spider tames the silk into its web, but see the frost of the morn and the dew upon the silk. You then see something so beautiful. You just see it through a different way. For sometimes we come and address you, and we must deliver our thoughts. And it is how mankind can respond to it. How your world has created words which invokes fear and misunderstanding. For the taboo subject of the word death. Death has become so final that you do not speak of the seed that transforms into the rose, does not mourn the husk, but you only see the beauty that evolves from it. And so I ask each of you, if you are to walk the idea that death is the end, then look at your life now and change what you can to squeeze every ounce of enjoyment out of your day. But if mankind was able to address that death is not the end, a new great beginning arises of a continuation of where you were, but without the limitations that this world has offered. As the former world will fade, and the new will rise. If this is difficult to digest, I ask of you, what was your world before you were birthed? Do you remember it? Do you remember how your body grew within the womb of the mother? Or will it stretch even further? And I ask of you, what was it like before the first ounce of life within the womb? You just simply do not remember. The pain that was when you were birthed to this world became insignificant when you were placed within the arms of the one that gave you life. And that infectious moment spread throughout the entirety. Held by arms who no longer stand and cast thy shadow, but stand firmly in my world and watch you, guide you, and sit with you when you cannot sleep, lead you when you dream. If you are to look over one's shoulder from the moment that the voice was broken, what do you remember of the words I have shared with you? You won't remember the entirety, only a few statements. It represents life. You only remember a few, not every day that has passed. What you may have forgotten, others may hold. What day may have passed which seems insignificant to you may mean the world to someone else. Enjoy each other's company, even those who polish you, by rubbing you against friction. For every rub makes the diamond sparkle. Some may challenge you. It is how one reacts to the challenge. Sometimes fire with fire only makes a greater fire. Let them burn themselves out. When they realize no matter how hard the breath will blow, the mountain does not bow. The candle may flicker and be no more. But where does the light go? These are the simple words I share with all of you. Sergeant, my dear, I trust that you are well.
I am very well, Eric. Thank you.
It is pleasing to hear. If it is so your wish, let us proceed in the usual manner.
Thank you. I'd like to ask a question on behalf of our friend Emily.
I trust that she is well.
Yes. She says, when we talk to our loved ones in spirit and ask them for guidance or for help with a situation in our lives, do they have the ability to help? For instance, can they protect us? Can they help us in our healing? Thank you so much for being here and bringing us such comfort.
What kind words one echoes. But may I say this to you? We will do all that we can within the natural law, for you yourself must walk your own path. But we will stand firmly with you, for we may see only a step in front of you, and therefore try to influence a possibility, to either bring attention to situations or cause you just to turn the other way. But the decision must be made by you. For we speak only briefly of free will. The love at those who have you will continue to nurture you and be within your company, for we only wish to see smiles from you. There are others in your world that may not see the beauty that one carries, may cause demand, certain situations where harm may come. But we will stand in front. But others may not see it. Others may not appreciate the outcome, even though it may cause such irritation. But it can prevent greater things to come. So we can do all we can. We cannot abandon you. You cannot abandon the world in which you have loved and everyone who is a part of it. But thought precedes action. If someone thinks of cruelty, we will do all that we can to bring to attention the individual that may think such viciousness, and we will try to administer healing so that they can free themselves from that situation that then causes them not to react. But as I come back to the words free will once again, As I have said, your loved ones, as well as those who inspire you, will do all they can to ensure happiness, laughter, smiles, warmth emulate from you. But others may choose a different wish for you. In your world, you could do such harm to one another, but you can also do such good with one another. And that is what we wish to highlight. No one is born bad. It is something they grow into. We pray they grow out of. But yes, of course, those who are attracted to you will do all that they can. But remember, my friend, disagreement, even though that words may not be exchanged, is merely because the two vibrations are not in harmony with one another. And that is why then we say disharmony comes, and how mankind reacts to disharmony is what we try to then support and remedy. So each of you see each other as equals. Sometimes, my friends, the outcome may not be what you wish, but as I have said, it may prevent a greater thing occurring. If you would allow me just to ramble, it is my new word that I have found. Your world still sees disharmony, and many people have been sent to fight in the name of their country. We ask for two who choose to see each other differently, to meet upon the battlefield, for everyone to lay down their arms, and the two fight with their fists, fight with their words, hurt each other, yes, humiliate each other with words. And when they're both exhausted and cannot stand, then the elder should step forward and hold both of them and say, what else can you do to each other? Now you must heal. Put them in a room where they have to rely on each other. And we pray once they emerge from their prison strong, they will see that each time they hurt each other, they're hurting themselves. It is only a perception, but all life is sacred. That is what we wish to remind you. Sandra, my dear, I went on the tandem. Is that pleasing for you?
It is, and you can ramble anytime you like.
It is a new word I have learned.
It's a good word.
It is. When one rambles through nature, they go off the beaten track and therefore discover new beauty that others have not seen. I trust it will be sufficient for our dear friend Emily.
Yes, thank you.
Then let us continue.
Okay, we have our friend Diana with us. Hello, Diana.
Hello, sweetie. I'm not super video prepared, I don't think.
Just your voice is all we need.
Hello, my dear. I trust that you are well.
Yes, yes. Thank you for being here. No, we had a very unexpected sudden death of a cousin on Monday. The youngest cousin of hundreds of cousins. And it's just so difficult to find words to comfort his wife and 3 young children. And even though I have had abilities to speak with people in, my loved ones on the other side, and I have deep faith, there's that moment of anger. Why so young? Why did he choose to leave this beautiful family? And yes, it's, I guess, the grief process we humans go through. So if you have any beautiful insights to help me stay centered, to also comfort them, thank you.
Very kind of you, and many who hear your voice will have empathy with you and your family. May I say this to you? You are feeling grief with your family because you have known true love. Love that you are born into grows throughout you. And when one comes to our side of life, you mourn because you have known true love. To comfort anyone, you could say the most beautiful words, but their ears may not choose to accept them. You may show them great comfort, but they choose to be blinded because of the pain they are suffering. You may find that many people around them choose not to say a word because they choose not to offend, or words escape them. Speak to them honestly. Speak to them in ways that gives them freedom from the routine of what they have come into. Remind them of the love. Remind them of the memories, not the act that caused one to come to our side of life. Don't allow the entirety of their life to be shadowed by their final moment. The child in our world is full of life. The only thing they lost is the ability to speak back in a manner that ears can hear. And that is why within the dreams, the one will love and walk and share thoughts. That then when one awakes, they will say it was merely a dream. But it is a way that they can communicate to the ones that are left behind. You have put such beauty into your words, but one must remind you that death is not the villain, but neither is the word itself. The body was borrowed. Life could be long or it can be short within your reality. But in our world, there is no more dying. There is only living. There are many stages that awaits where consciousness shifts, and therefore they transform even to something more beautiful. But through the coming days, this is still a shock to the family. No matter how many cousins, it is still one life. I reminded the one we love. In mindfulness, I said to him, death only exists if we are forgotten. Talk about us, think of us, and we have not died. We are buried treasure, buried now within your memories. Keep us safe. Think of happiness, and we will think with you. There are unanswered questions. But if Mother chooses to write them down, it moves it from the brain, from the mind, from the heart, from the emotional side, immortalizes it in ink upon page. It will help through the coming days for her to write letters, to think of the child living in a foreign country, on travels, having experiences that one day will be shared. It will help just for the coming days. Someone has just whispered to me, the music by Queen. There are several songs that may wish to be listened to. We are the champions. Don't stop me now. These two songs, other voices are whispering to me. Please relay this to the family. It will bring comfort. That these words will overcome. So, my dear, as I remedy this situation, a face that I can deliver to you, I say this: speak to the family, because others choose not to. Please be careful of saying better place, but remind them of the love and memories, and how words that are immortalized on paper can be read by other eyes. Is this pleasing for you?
Yes, so beautiful. I'm quite moved. It's just the perfect message. And I feel such empathy for his wife, because I also raised my children without their father. So I know the turmoil she will go through having all that responsibility on her shoulders.
Then
It's tough.
you can yoke your strength from your experience. You know what words are fitting. Then use the experience that you have gone through and say, we will face this together. But remember what one has just said to you. The song, Don't Stop Me Now. Remember I said that, and share it accordingly. Even though that their faith may be different to you. It is about being a listening ear and a form of release. As I have said, grief is the shadow of love. And when one is grieving, the rest of the world may not understand or know the right words, and therefore may choose not to say anything when one wishes to be spoken to plainly, normal, and honest. Is that pleasing for you?
Yes, thank you for dedicating so much time. Thank you. This has been a breath of fresh air. So thank you. And to Sandra too. Love you, Cindy.
May I say this to you? What you have just said to me, being a breath of fresh air, you yourself can be that listening ear that gives fresh air to the one you think of. If that is pleasing for you, let us move along.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Eric. Eric, one of our friends here has just put in our message box that her cousin's son died this past week by taking his own life at the age of 22. Could you talk about that subject?
Of course, my friend, and I will speak plainly but gently. Plainly to say, no matter how they come to our side of life, they are met with great love. This idea that certain religions have planted weeds within the fields of love. No one is condemned. No one is punished. The only ones that are condemned or punished are the people who are left behind with the unanswered questions. For we do not know the circumstance of one who has chosen to blow out the light so it can burn so brightly in our world. So let me face the word suicide, which should be burnt from the pages of the languages of your world. Those who have migrated to our world are met with love. Confusion, what they had just a moment ago, is no more. Ailment is no more. The cloudiness of thought is no more. I must reiterate, is no more. They do not remember at that moment of transitioning of what has occurred to their physical body. They are met by those who love them and can counsel them and assist them. And they adjust from one vibration to another, and they enter the summer land, where they can be what they wish, act how they like, with no harm or effect to anyone. But then we are reminded of their joy is a sadness to many others who now stand within your world. Our world surrounds the people and the family, and try wherever possible to bring just a flicker of light. For they now have fallen into darkness. The pain and suffering that one may have faced is taken away, but it is given to all those who are left behind. Through counsel and love and the aid and cooperation of your world, the days will be long and the nights even longer for them. But we will do all that we can to remind them of happiness, as anger will be the reaction of grief, sadness, suffering, darker thoughts. And the question, what if this shall not rise or should not rise? Because nothing you could have done would have stopped if one is motivated and determined. All you can do now is to hold the entirety of the individual's life and see the happiness, the conversations that evoked laughter, and try not to think of sadness. This will be difficult, I say to you, as it is a natural reaction to the shock. This is why, my friends, I say this to you. Your world has learned many lies. Certain religions say they are condemned. They are not. Certain spiritual people will say they need rescuing. They need no rescuing. We come to rescue you. So I say this to you. See the person, the individual, at their utmost best. And this is how they are within our reality. But certain words have been created through fear for control that has become weeds and lies. In our world, the individual will take a duty. This duty will serve many. But this duty is not a punishment, and I must stress this. The duty will bring fulfillment to the individual, but it will also bring great benefit to humanity. Sandra, my friend, is that pleasing for you?
Yes, thank you, Eric.
I trust it will be pleasing to the one that is suffering, but has asked on behalf of many.
Yes.
Let us continue.
Okay. We have another friend with us asking how to handle mental and emotional stress that we come across so often in life.
Well, first of all, even though it is asked, I will still reiterate, I trust that they are well.
Yes, thank you.
Now remember, my friends, There is much trouble within your world that has been created by man. First of all, finance, resources, society. The world that was so big to me now fits in the modern world within one hand. You have your devil's box that is known within your modern world as televisions. It shows the best and worst of humanity. But you are also a slave to time. Time repeats itself. And mankind sometimes repeats its journey. But remember, my friend, if you think of the worst thing that ever happened to you and work your way backwards, think of the worst. Once one has thought of it, what else could happen? And keep diluting. Do you realize then that you are just a human being, a master of your own story? If mental stress and strain is upon you, it is because the ideas that you may be facing seem greater. Squeeze them out. Mortalize it if you wish. Speak to people who are not in the labyrinth of your mind. But then allow counsel to help organize one's thoughts. And realize now that you are greater. You are the storyteller. You can overcome and change how you react to situations. Your world is governed by so much. Do you know what currency is in our world? Our currency is love. Therefore, you will not find a beggar on the street. Everyone is capable of love, and that is the currency. If one is facing the mental pressures, why not break the routine? Do you have a sanctuary that holds the abandoned, the unlovable, animals, if you will? You can walk through the corridors and see these animals imprisoned because others have deemed them too stressful, too time-consuming. You can walk and volunteer for 30 minutes of your time. You could go and stroke and sit with the unlovable and realize then that you're not too dissimilar. You are imprisoned because other people have put you there. And now you can be free. The wonderful thing about animals is that when you come home, they're excited to see you. When you sit down, and other members of your family wish to be in their own environment, the animal will sit with you. If you are to have your dinner, the animal wishes to eat with you. If you want to go for a walk, the animal wishes to walk with you. If you wish to retire for the day, the animal wishes to sleep next to you. It is interesting to see. Now you're going to say to me, Eric, I cannot abide animals. Then go out into the garden and give the weeds a chance before they are ripped root and stem. What you see as annoyance, others see as what they can thrive from. It is about perception, my friend. But if your mind is far too strong and too busy for this moment, and mentally is hurting and exhausting, break routine. Go to those who have been abandoned and walk through. And as you walk, they stare back, hoping that you are different to their former master. There is always room for more love, not for hatred. Sandra, my friend, is that pleasing?
Yes, thank you, Eric.
It is about perception. Someone has been abandoned and is staring and looking for you. Don't wish to cause any more stress by saying, and I do not wish to be blamed, but if you walk the corridors and then you arrive home with more than just 5, an old dead man told me this will make me happy. An old dead man has told you you can live, not in the shadows of others. If that is pleasing, let us move along.
Thank you. Yes, very much. I'd like to ask the next question on behalf of Rachel.
I trust that she is well.
Yes, her question is someone with dementia experiencing more of beyond the veil? And how can we reconcile the seeming loss of their personality? Thank you.
Well, my friend, I have to say to you, this does bring me enjoyment because you have touched the truth. When one has a mental ailment that affects the brain, then, my friend, they walk between the worlds. To one who is suffering, or so they seem to be suffering, they're only reminded that they are different when the onlooker says, no, that is not right. When one is lost in their imagination, they may revert to happier memories. But then one reminds them, no, that isn't correct. And then confusion sweeps across their mind because it is real to them. But as the crippling of the decay of their thoughts from your world, they come to our reality. When you look at the loved one or the individual, some days you can recognize That is my papa. That's my dear mama. These days that you recognize, they stand firmly with you. But you are born with 2 feet. Days that you do not recognize them, they're leaning more in our world, preparing themselves for the transition, but also preparing the family to say goodbye for now. Your world has cruelly said it is a slow goodbye. If one is in enjoyment, being lost in a conversation, enter into their conversation. Join them in their happiness. If distress washes over the body, be there and calm them. But once again, we will prepare for their arrival, but we must also prepare the healing balm for you and those who are left behind. The sadness of the body is reacting. It is the body that is leaving to go back into the earth or consumed in fire. But the treasure within, which is precious to you, will be no confusion in our reality. Because the confusion is a physical experience. To help your mind accept what they are experiencing, have you all had dreams that seem so real to you? And suddenly you have woken and forgotten the dream. But then you return to another dream. But you forget you are dreaming. Their dream is happening whilst their eyes are awake and open to you. But they are walking in the soft sands of our reality. One day the cord will be severed, as the body will not function. Their body will claim the title of death. Their soul will transform into the spirit, and they will see clearly again. Understand those who are left behind. It is the body. If you are able, in times that are difficult, just reassure them. And say as they sleep that you yourselves will be reassured that you are loved and you will continue your duty of life until it is your turn to join them. Reassuring the soul, then the grip will loosen as they know that you will be well when they come to our side of life. Many people will try to heal. What you are doing is bringing the body peace. But we also ask for the healing thought to also wash over all who are left behind. We will look after your buried treasure and return it to you. You must promise us that you will continue to infect many people with your laughter, with your love, with your stories, and with who you are. Sandra, my dear, is that pleasing?
Yes, thank you.
Time is against me, but let us continue.
All right, thank you. I have a question from Ramona.
I trust that she is well.
Yes. She says, what happens to all the billions of souls that have already passed into the spirit world? Are they all in one place? Thank you so much for your kind and wise answer always. May love always be with you and the spirit world.
Very kind of you, but may I say this to you? Do you think that we are crowded? Do you think we're squeezed together? There's not an ounce of space within our reality because there is so many of you over in our side of life. But may I say this to you? Light takes up no room at all. You are all light. And therefore, my friends, our world is spacious. We will meet those who we wish. We will meet those who have need. But it is about progression, my friends. Your world is physical. Your world is at its capacity. But it is a step on the path of progress. As one develops their understanding within our reality, it then awakens to another vibration. So, my friends, let me tell you a story. When one comes to our side of life, it is the summer land. If we could speak of this in the modern way, you have vacation, do you not? Some approach vacation time as rest and recuperation. Some instantly want to explore. Some wish to then party with their peers and with their family. Celebrations are occurred. How you wish to then be received within the state of familiarity is your choosing. Rest, recuperation, to be an adventurer, to explore and learn, to celebrate, or have a moment of peace for oneself. But then you start to ask questions that lead to a greater question. And inwardly you know you're ready for a new experience. And you move from the golden shores into the greater world. If one wishes to have duty, then so be it. If there are questions that seek answers, then education is then given, but in a way that one would accept it. Progression within our world is put in a manner that if you could imagine that you are in a busy environment with many tall structures around you, and you stand at the lowest floor of the tallest building, but every floor is made of glass. You can see your potential, but it's going to take understanding to get there. But as you start to climb, you start to see the horizon around you. It starts to then expand because your level of acceptance is starting to grow. You are ready for more knowledge, experience, duty, if you will. And as you climb further and further and further, you start to see the truth. You start to see the greater world, not holding on to the past, but you get to see the great horizon in front of you. But only you, yourself, can decide when you wish to move forward. And so, my friends, as you progress within our world, you leave many layers of you behind, and therefore you become lighter, and light takes up no room at all. We progress, my friends. But sometimes as we progress, we must help humanity. My pleasure is trying wherever possible to bring counsel from my world back to this world. For I did not know fully the world that awaited me. I had my own understanding of what I perceived to be death, which happened to be a lie. I wish to save you from that lie. My enjoyment is making sure you do not fear the spectre, the phantom, the so-called dead, that you greet us like you would greet your friend, in happiness, in truth, and in love. Is that pleasing?
Yes, thank you.
I will take one more inquiry.
Well, okay. I will ask this on behalf of our friend Alan.
I trust that he is well.
He is well. Let me just find the question here. He was wondering the form of
It's near
communication.
the beginning, my friend.
Say that again?
It is near the beginning.
Yes, I found it. You're good. His question is, since man has been walking this earth, has spirit ever spoken to humans as we are speaking tonight? And if yes, when?
Oh, when creation was started, my friend, our worlds have always been entwined. Society was born through the creative mind of the great creator. Have you not read in the Holy Scriptures of many stories which were called miracles, which you now know or to accept of being psychic or spiritual phenomena? Even in the Templars, it speaks of the commandments through precipitation, appearing on a stone where no hand has struck it. It speaks of Jesus placing his hand upon the man that was mutilated. And as the hand was removed, the ear had formed, the healing balm. It was spoken of the man of the Nazarene, heard the distant voice of the unseen Father. The oceans parted in the forms of phenomena. Predictions was made of the Last Supper. It was spoken of Judas. But we are only speaking of one religion. But throughout humanity, it is the inevitability But our world must be the next step from yours. As your world continued to face great challenges, our world continued to help steady you through the uncharted and uncertain waters. Throughout history, you will face many plagues, and therefore healers were called for, humanitarians. When war came, we needed voices to help you through the dark times ahead and reassure many that family that was sent in the name of their king or queen now stands and live eternity in peace and in love to teach all humanity of the importance and preciousness of all life. Our world has not loosened its grip with you, but your world has become distracted. And therefore we must move with the distractions. Before you could hold the world in your hand, your own experiences of entertainment was sitting with your family, your king, and sit and sing and serenade each other because the house was too cold. You would huddle in one room and appreciate each other's company. Life that you may seem to be more simpler was actually rich within each other's company. There's always been signs of our world, but mankind sometimes are blind. There's always been songs from our world, but mankind sometimes are deafened by our voice or numb to our touch. Throughout history, those of my world who have gone before me have lit the candles that were handed to your world in its darkest time. Even though the storm may rage, behind the cloud is the sun. The night may be long, but you gaze, you can see the stars. You cannot touch it, but their light can touch you. It's fascinating to see cultures, how they would honor the sun, the moon, the earth, fire, the water, because all of these will bring life and bring balance. But mankind has lost what balance is. And that is why you are out of balance. This is why the time of change wasn't then, it is now. You are in the swings of it. That is why many of you were born now, were born with the capability to be sensitive. The corruption through mankind's misunderstanding is slowly fading away. But it is always darkest before the dawn. These are words not to turn your heart to stone, but to encourage you that our world is here and we will not abandon. It is our solemn vow. It is our promise to all of you that there will always be the light of the Spirit behind whatever storm rages. Sandra, my dear, as time is against me, is that pleasing for you?
Yes, thank you, Eric.
Just it is pleasing for our dear friend Alan. Ordinarily, there is a follow-up question, but not today. It must be held until next time. To all of you, understand this. I have given you no answers, but I have planted seeds that will grow into a greater question. For that is progress, my friends. Question everything so that you can absorb as much as you can. Remember, behind the beating heart, there is love. You may not see it, but others may feel it. Until such time as we come together as brother and sister, I wish your world happiness. I wish it with love. I wish it with the healing balm. And I wish you the best. No matter what God you follow or symbol you carry, it is love that we offer. In certain parts of your world honors mothers. We honor life now in its name. Good day to you, my friend.
Good day, Eric. Thank you so very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. You're right. Just for 1 second, I'm sorry. I just is very, very weak. And this is my thought, not theirs. I need to stress that quite quickly and honestly, but I have a lady here who had cancer, but had cancer where she went through treatment and she lost all her hair, or her hair really thinned. And there was talk about getting something done. And I feel that someone puts a tea cozy on my head, because I just feel that I've got to make joke of this situation. And I feel that knitting was important, especially when the diagnosis came in. I had to do stuff, and I felt I wanted to knit something. Say, for argument's sake, I wanted to knit a pair of gloves, which happened to turn into a jumper, because my measurements, I wasn't good at measurements. And I've got this real character, but I know that I have cancer. I know I go for treatment. I know there's hope, but it wasn't my destiny. I feel very much that I lose my hair, and there was either talk of getting a wig, but I feel just like a tea cozy goes on to keep my head warm, because I want to make people laugh, even though that it's difficult to smile. This person keeps coming up and being absolute fun to be with, life and soul of parties, life and soul of conversation. And you wouldn't have expected that this person was poorly. I don't necessarily say this could be a family member, but it could be a friend. But I feel I'm loved. I know that the cancer is secondary, because I feel I'm winning, but then her words have just come to me, and it sounds like I'm going to have to say it in a way, because I'm not going to swear, but it's like a bar steward. You've got to, you got to understand that she's kind of aggressive towards the illness, saying that thing has moved, and I feel, and I keep going here, so I don't know if it's breast and it goes to lung, or it just travels, but I know that it's secondary. But I know it's weak, but it's me weak, not her, because she's full of ounce and beans. Diagnosis of cancer, I feel I'm getting over it. It goes secondary. I'm having treatment, I lose my hair or fins on top, and there's talk about getting either wig or something, but I put like a tea cozy on my head. I think more outrageous, the better. I know I'm life and soul of parties. I feel I'm fun. I feel I'm happy. I feel all of this here, and I just feel great. But sadly, it just takes over. I can hear Lionel Richie comes into my mind. I also hear the song Prince, the 2000 song, in 1999, that kind of song goes through my head. So it's audible, but it's strange because I feel I'm loved by many people. Does anyone understand, or am I just talking nonsense?
Our friend Julie typed in the box here that it sounds like her mom. Are you there, Julie?
Yes, I am.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Do you understand the description? First of all, I'm full of beans.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm bigger than life. She's like the male version of Freddie Mercury, because I feel life is unstoppable. And I just had a vision, two visions that came into my mind, of a person I know called Justine and her mother Sandy. And these two people are outrageous and I love them. But that's what comes into my head. But I feel that even though that I'm going south, things are going wrong, I'm still putting on my best. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely, it does.
Because I feel I want to wear lipstick, but I want to be outrageous. I want to paint on my eyebrows, which are bigger than God's. I feel that I want to put stuff on my head, but be silly with it, because it's my way of coping. Does this make sense? Have I lost it?
No, you got it completely.
Because I feel this is very outrageous and loving here. I know, well, I'm going to say something to you because it comes to me in not in words, but in pictures. Now, I like the film Sixth Sense, and there's a scene at the end where the boy tackles the mum and says, the bumblebee pendant keeps moving. Would you understand that there are things in your house that are just randomly appearing?
Yes.
Do you know, I feel this is family just trying to get themselves to you to be known, because I just feel that sometimes that people in the spirit world can't talk to you clearly, so they have to move things. Now, some people go a little bit terrified about this, but I feel you're very cool with this. I feel you're quite relaxed with this there. But if you're saying this is mum, but I still feel that I'm mother to many.
Yes, yes,
I
of
still
course.
feel I am
Everyone called her mom.
good, because I just seen my nails and my nails are outrageous.
Yes.
I actually feel at some points I used to have stick-on nails.
Yeah.
But they're not like what we have with acrylics. These are like stuck on with super glue things. And I do feel I want to put pegs on my fingers to make my fingers longer. And I get the sense that I like Kermit the Frog and I love the Muppets.
Yes.
Because I feel animals important, and I feel that the Muppets song, and there is a Paul McCartney song that goes through my head, but I think that's to do with that Maya. I can't remember Maya. It's a frog song, and it goes through my head. But can I just bring this straight back, that you must have been thinking or talking to mum this morning, or thinking of her, and it's brought her close to me, just to kind of gear you up. Even though your voice is strong to me, emotionally you do go flat, and mum is just saying, look, you've got to remember the happiness. And I know that you had to grow up quickly. I know there's a lot of responsibility. I'm sorry for that, but I just want to echo my love to you. Okay. I just keep seeing spiky hair. I'm full of hair.
Yes, that was what she was known for, was her big blonde curly 80s hair.
Yes,
She kept it forever.
I feel I'm outrageous. I feel I've got back comb. I feel I've got hairspray. I'm a hurricane won't move this. But I just get this huge outstanding, and please take this in the spirit I give it to you. And I mean this with love, absolute love. You know how drag queens can be. And I mean
Yeah.
this with absolute love, because I feel your mum would have fitted right in there.
Oh yeah, she would have been right with them for sure.
Because I just feel this sense of absolute fun. Live for now, don't live for then. Live for now, enjoy it, and just laugh. That's what I keep getting from her. But I get this absolute great spirit. I get Freddie Mercury with her. I get concerts in the spirit world, and she said, you know what, I don't have to pay, and that's the fun of it. Okay. Please take her love, take the love for your children, take the love for her family, and just know that wherever you walk, she wraps her arms around you and tries to give you strength when you are weary, and she tries to bring you laughter when you're sad.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me.
You're welcome. And do you know what? I've just looked over on my wall, and I have all Disney characters, which I collected with my father by Roald Dalton. And I just saw Tinkerbell come up, and she just said that should have relevance there. Out of the 100 statues I've got, I just see Tinkerbell light up there. Okay.
Yes, that was the sticker she had on the back of her car.
Perfect. Okay. So take the love of Sandra and myself, and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And although Julie's mom came through, I just want to repeat, our loved ones are around. They're very real, as we will be too when we take that last breath here. We're in an amazing world. We truly are. Their love is real. I want to remind everybody that we offer our free Sunday gathering with medium demonstration. Also, as far as what we do here on Fridays, Scott will be traveling next week. We will be back together on the 26th of May. So we have no sitting next week. We do have some amazing things with Scott coming up, and also some recorded things. We just announced today we're doing a 5-hour trance intensive that will be Saturday, the 3rd of June. Also, our June classes are open for registration. Scott offers 2 sitting in the power hours on Tuesdays, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. London time, as well as we have our new trance library where you can search all the past demonstrations. Also, a beautiful home study course for home circles, which is so much more if you'd like to learn about sitting with the spirit world. So if you go to wedon'tdie.com, at the top of the page, there's a bunch of things you can click on, but there's one that says Scott Milligan, and there is listed all of the good things, past and present, also his live events coming up as well. So I think that's all the announcements from me. Scott, any closing words?
I just think you guys just are awesome. Awesome in the sense that you sit for healing and sitting for helping whoever is in need. I think at the heart of what I want to echo from today is about the healing balm. I know that is our purpose, and that is our motivation of joining us together. Thank you for allowing me to continue to exercise this muscle, which became a little bit rusty when COVID hit, and hopefully we're breaking that rust off and moving much more easier into it. So don't give up, don't give in, and be yourself.
Thank you, Scott. And thank you, everybody, for joining us, whether you're watching the replay or watching us live. We love you. We thank you, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again, Scott. Bye, everyone.
Take care.